The Second World War was much more than bloody battles and treaties signed in offices. Behind the devastation and pain, secrets, hidden treasures, and enigmas were buried, which even today spark the curiosity of millions. From chests full of Nazi gold hidden beneath mountains to the mysterious disappearance of invaluable works of art. From sunken ships in distant seas to the construction of impossible bunkers that seemed designed to withstand the test of time. Every finding is not just a piece of history rescued. It is also a window into the mysteries the war left unresolved. Prepare yourself, because today you're going to discover the most surprising secrets the Second World War left us. Mysteries that continue to fascinate archaeologists, treasure hunters, and history lovers. And before we immerse ourselves in this journey full of intrigue and revelations, I invite you, if you enjoy this type of content, to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like at the end of this introduction, because what's coming, you won't want to miss it. Chapter 1. The Nazi Treasures, Stolen Riches Buried in the Shadows. The Nazi machinery was not only fueled by ideology and weapons, but also by stolen riches. Gold, jewelry, works of art, historical relics. Everything that fell under German dominion was looted and moved. Many of these treasures were never recovered. It is estimated that thousands of pieces of art disappeared during the war. The famous Amber Room of the Catherine Palace in Russia, considered the eighth wonder of the world, was dismantled by the Nazis in 1941. Since then, its trace was lost. Was it destroyed in a bombing? Or is it still hidden in some secret bunker? But it wasn't the only mystery. It is said that trains filled with gold bars crossed Europe towards abandoned mines, underground tunnels, or deep lakes. One of the most persistent rumors is that of the Nazi gold train, supposedly buried in Poland, loaded with tons of stolen riches. Treasure hunters have been looking for it for decades. And although there is no conclusive proof, the myth remains alive. Because where there are secrets, there is obsession. Suspenseful pause. What would happen if one day someone found it? Chapter 2. The Death of Adolf Hitler. Suicide or Escape. April 30th, 1945. Berlin is burning. The Soviet army advances relentlessly, and in an underground bunker, Adolf Hitler makes the decision that would mark the end of the Third Reich: suicide. That is the official version. The dictator shot himself along with his wife, Eva Braun, and both bodies were burned in the bunker's courtyard. But was it really so? Since then, multiple conspiracy theories claim that Hitler never died in Berlin. Some assert that he managed to escape by submarine to Argentina, where he would have lived in hiding for years. Others maintain that he found refuge in Spain, or even in a secret base in Antarctica. In 2009, a team of French scientists analyzed skull fragments attributed to Hitler, stored in Moscow, and discovered that they did not belong to a man, but to a woman about 40 years old. This detail fueled the doubts even more. The truth remains underground, mixed with ashes and silences, and perhaps we will never know it for sure. Chapter 3. The USS Yorktown, the silent tomb beneath the sea. The aircraft carrier USS Yorktown was one of the jewels of the American Navy. It participated in the Battle of Midway, one of the most decisive in the Pacific. But on June 7, 1942, after receiving brutal impacts, it slowly sank. 141 officers and sailors died that day. The sea became their tomb. Decades later, in 1998, oceanographer Robert Ballard, famous for discovering the Titanic, located the remains of the Yorktown at a depth of over 5,000 meters. What was surprising was its condition. After more than half a century, the ship was practically intact. Exploring it was like opening a time capsule. Among dark corridors and sealed cabins, the remains seemed to whisper the history of those who perished there. The Yorktown transformed into a silent monument, a reminder of the brutality of war at sea. Dramatic pause. The ocean never forgets. Chapter 4. The Buffalo LVT, the Buried Giant. In England, for 74 years, a World War II landing vehicle remained hidden underground. It was the Buffalo LVT, an amphibian capable of crossing rivers and transporting supplies in key battles, such as Iwo Jima or Normandy. When it was finally discovered, it was surprisingly well preserved thanks to the type of soil that had protected it. This finding was more than military archaeology. It was living proof of how every piece of military equipment played a crucial role in the outcome of the war. And it reminds us that under the fields that seem tranquil today, the echoes of forgotten battles still beat. Chapter 5. The Katyn Massacre. The secret the USSR hid. In 1940, thousands of Polish officers were executed in the Katyn forest by the Soviet secret police. For decades, the Soviet Union falsely blamed the Nazis. It wasn't until 1990 that Moscow admitted its responsibility. The Katyn case is one of the most stark examples of how the truth can be buried along with the victims, and how historical memory is, often, the last battle of a war. Chapter 6. Yamashita's Treasure, Myth or Reality. At the end of the war, Japanese General Tomoyuki Yamashita was accused of war crimes and executed. But his name became linked to a fascinating legend, an immense treasure hidden in the Philippines. It is said that entire ships loaded with gold were buried in secret tunnels and caverns, ready to be recovered by the Japanese Empire, something that never happened. For more than half a century, treasure hunters have excavated tirelessly in search of the loot. But to this day, nothing conclusive has been found. Is it a myth? Or does it still await beneath the jungle, intact, waiting for the right explorer? Mystery pause. The obsession with wealth can be as dangerous as the war itself. Chapter 7. The Hoxton Treasure, an unexpected find. In 1992, a British farmer lost a hammer in the field and asked a detectorist friend for help to find it. What they found was not just the tool, but one of the largest Roman treasures discovered in Great Britain, the Hoxton Treasure. More than 14,000 gold and silver coins, bracelets, jewelry, antique tableware. A finding that allowed archaeologists to better understand the economy and culture of Rome. And it proved that, sometimes, the greatest treasures arise in the most unexpected way. Chapter 8. Forgotten Bases Under the Ice. The Invisible Danger in Greenland. During the war, the United States built military bases in Greenland. After the conflict, many were abandoned. But toxic waste, fuel, and even radioactive material remain under the ice. Today, with the thawing caused by climate change, these forgotten bases are once again a threat, an environmental time bomb that was born in the Second World War, and that could explode in our present. Chapter 9. The Battleship Bismarck, the Monster of the Atlantic. The Bismarck was the most feared ship of the Nazi Navy. Its firepower and armor seemed invincible. But in May 1941, after an epic chase in the Atlantic, it was sunk by the British. Of the more than 2,000 crew members, only about 100 survived. The sinking of the Bismarck marked a turning point in naval warfare, and even today, its remains rest in the depths as witnesses to a fierce battle. Chapter 10. Hitler's Bunker, the Last Refuge of the Reich. In the last days of the Third Reich, Hitler entrenched himself in a bunker in Berlin. Although small, it had bedrooms, meeting rooms, and even a telephone exchange. There, surrounded by his closest circle, he made the final decisions of the war and faced the end. After the defeat, the area was razed and later covered with buildings. But excavations in the 80s and 90s revealed parts of the bunker still standing, a cold and claustrophobic place where the last page of one of humanity's darkest chapters was written. Conclusion: the Second World War did not end with the surrender of Germany and Japan. Its traces remain alive, hidden in tunnels, sunken ships, distant jungles, and secret archives. Every discovery reminds us that history is not static, that there are still secrets to uncover, treasures to unearth, and truths to reveal. And perhaps the most unsettling thing is that many of those mysteries will remain buried forever, waiting for whoever dares to seek them. Because the war never completely ends.